Hey guys, God bless you. Welcome to Moments at His Feet, where we are actually wrapping up this series of 5 senses to better your relationship with God. For the past 4 days, I spoke on the sense of sight, hearing, smell, and taste. And tonight, for the last sense, I'm going to be speaking on touch. How can we use the sense of touch to have a better relationship with God? How far are you willing to go to get somebody's attention? You scream and you still don't get their attention. You ask somebody to reach their attention for you and you still get no response. So what do? You get up and you go to that person and you touch them in order for them to look at you face to face, in order for you to grab their attention. So I ask you today, how far are you willing to go to grab God's attention? How far are you willing to go? Are you just going to scream His name? Are you just going to shout? Are you going to ask somebody to pray to God for you without you praying yourself? Are you going to ask somebody to get God's attention when it's you who wants to speak to Him? How far are you willing to go? In the book of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 21, it says, "If only I touch His cloak, I will be healed." In this chapter, there's a woman with the flow of blood, uncontrollable. Went to doctor. Nothing was able to cure her. But she heard of Jesus of Nazareth that walked, that healed. And she said, you know what? This is my only option. This is the last option I have. I can't go to any more doctor. Everybody else has failed me. Everybody else has given me excuses. So if only I touch the edge of His cloak. If only. But in the midst of her, there was a crowd of people following Jesus. She did something in order to reach Him. How far was she willing to go? She crawled on the floor. She probably got stepped on. She probably got kicked. She probably got pushed, but she didn't care because that's how far she was willing to go. In order to touch Him, in order to be healed, she was willing to get down and dirty in order to reach Him. How far are you willing to go? And when she finally reached the edge of His garment, she touched it, she grabbed it. And from that moment, she received healing immediately. It didn't take 5 minutes. It didn't take 10 minutes. It didn't take a day. It didn't take a week. It took one touch of His cloak for her to receive what nobody was able to give her for years. And you know what He told her? You know what He told His disciples? You know what Jesus said? Being in the midst of a crowd of people who are touching Him, who want to be healed, who want to be spoken to, who want to speak to Jesus, He was in the midst of thousands of people. But you want to know what Jesus said as soon as she touched His cloak? He says, someone touched me. Someone. Are you that someone tonight? That you have reached the end of your rope? That the only rope that you are wanting to hang on to is the cloak that He carries? That you feel like there is no other way, no other option, no other choice that you have. People have abused you. They have broken your heart. You have been sick for years and there's nothing that doctors can do. There's nothing that men can do to satisfy. There's nothing that drugs and alcohol can satisfy. Because you're still empty. You're still hurt inside. Are you that person that wants to touch the end of His cloak? Are you that person that God tonight is going to say, someone touched me? Because out of me came power. In the midst of all these people, out of me came power from one person. Are you that person? How far are you willing to go in order to get God's attention? How far are you willing to go in order to be healed? How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go in order to receive that peace, in order to receive that joy? How far are you willing to go in order to get rid of that depression, in order to get rid of those anxieties, in order to get rid of insomnia, in order to get rid of the things that torment you day and night? How far are you willing to go to get God's attention? God doesn't ignore you. God is not ignoring you. But He's asking you today, how far are you willing to go in order to receive what you've been praying for? How far are you willing to go? Because He's here and He's passing by. But how are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? At the end of this series, this is the end of this series, and right now you may be asking yourself, if only I can see God, so I can know where I'm going in order to get to Him. If only I can hear God, so even in the midst of my darkness, I will know where I'm going because I'm following His voice. If only I can smell God, so that everywhere I go and everywhere that I am, I smell His presence and I know that He's surrounding me. If only I can taste what God has to offer, so that I could stop looking here and there for the things that still do not satisfy me. If only I can touch God. If only I can touch the end of His garment and receive the strength that I've been waiting for, to receive the peace that I've been longing for, to receive the love that I've been wanting and asking the wrong people for. If only I can touch the edge of the garment of Jesus, so that I could be free, so that I could be free from my sin, so that I could be free from my shame and my guilt, so that I could be free. How far are you willing to go in order to get God's attention? God is here. God is present. He is omnipotent. He is everywhere. And at this moment, He is passing by. How far are you willing to go in order to receive what you have been longing for? How far are you willing to go in order to feel full when so long you've been so empty? How long are you willing to go? He is passing by, and all you need to do is reach out and grab.